Alright folks, so today's art filler video is going to be a speed drawing session as opposed to a pixel art session because I got myself one of these fancy drawing tablets and I figured it was about time to update the profile photo. Hope you guys enjoy. So, seeing as this is going to be a speed drawing video, I'm just going to have us go through and I'll narrate what we're doing here. So first off, I was spending a little too much time trying to get the head proportions for what I would like it to be. And then from there, I kind of figured out where Amphatias' kind of beak-like nose was and deciding on how big I wanted to have his back and body shape. You see here, I'm trying to take our channel's Amphatias triangle and put it on his face like I have with the original. And we're gonna just give him a happy little smile. Here you can see I'm having some trouble trying to get some equidistance between the lines for his neck stripes, but there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of a accidental variance, especially since we're getting to the bigger portions of the body. Next, we're going to work on his ear stripes, give him a little bit of a flare, show off that he's our little duder that we got going on. Amphatias' tail's in place, and then we kind of mock up where we want his kind of flipper arms and his belly circle. Now that we've got all of our outlining done, we're going to go over and kind of just fill in what we want to have more permanent with our darker blacks. You can see I was having trouble kind of deciding what dynamics I wanted on my brush, and I ended up settling with a non-dynamic so that it was a little bit more rigid, so that when I had to go shrink it down later, it was a little bit easier. Now, over time, I decided that the big eye might have been a little bit too much, so we shrank that down. If you see here, we're trying to keep that goofy little grin going on while cleaning it up just a touch. Forcing the idea of the skull up against the back of the neck there as we draw down his back line, get his flipper. From here, we're going to be cleaning up some of our line work so that we can get it a little bit more noticeable as to what we're making. And if you see here, I took back off that tracing mask. At this point, I was kind of just playing around with some of the settings, trying to make sure that I was getting everything that I wanted correct before going in and coloring in some of Amphatias' stripy spots areas. Making sure he was all colorful and vibrant, given that most of the color scheme for the channel is Amphatias' reds, whites, and blues. Then from here, we migrate down and start getting his little neck stripe and his tail stripe all filled in. I want to say after this, I go back in and I finish up on there. There we go. So the reasoning for Amphatias and Amphatias in this particular situation is Amphatias I've loved since my very first playthrough of Gold all those years back. I know I've talked about that before on the channel, is that Gold is my first game that I played. But Amphatias just had those kind of big dumb boy characteristics that I tend to fall in love with pretty easily when it comes to the Pokemon designs. Amphatias, on the other hand, was my first real encounter with the whole roaming legendary type of thing. And I thought that the extra work made it really special for me personally, because I didn't go through and do the legendary beasts in Johto. I was a little too young to realize that concept. But I like how, because of their facial shapes, oh, there I go, messing some stuff up. But I like how, because of their facial shapes, Ampharos and Latias have that similar kind of oblong egg shape to their heads. So I thought that it kind of just matched perfectly to be able to put that triangular shielding on Ampharos' body. Now, if we look here, was going through and looking at my old profile sprite as a reference to see if the main body had been painted red or not. At this point, I'm probably just messing around with some more of the settings, trying to get everything figured out. Now I'm going through and I'm going to start painting the gradient for the tail sphere. Which, interestingly enough, very similar color, but there are different shades of this red-orange type of color. The tail sphere is a little bit more orange specific, whereas Latias's red is a little bit closer to a salmon. And as you see here, to save myself some trouble later, I'm trying to force a gradient in the coloring to mock up what the shadow would look like with the glint of light, matching the glint of light on Ampharos' eye bead. And I decided I didn't like how dark it was, so I'm going in with a dodge tool and lightening up the entire area. But yeah, no, Latias, I really like the pear kind of design that their bodies have, with the smaller head and like the wider base. Kind of the the Pixar construct, I suppose. Now, looking back on this, I probably should have added the perspective of having the second ear propped up in the back. I was kind of rushing myself at the time to get this recording done, and it'll be something that I try to pay attention to later on. What I'm doing now is I'm going in with a burn tool to darken up some of those deeper shadow areas, because I'm not formally trained. Wow, I'm having so many brain farts on this one. On how to do cell shading, so I'm trying to just get my best based off of guessing on the light source that I would have had. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some more shading in the form of Latias's shadow lights from its sprite. Kind of just blend in and add some depth to some of these deeper areas. I want to say I added some more under the mandible portion of the jaw at some point too, because I didn't think that it looked focused enough. A little too flat. But yeah, if I ever go through and do another update in one of these, I'll probably change up the perspective that we're seeing everybody in, and also change up some of the stylization things that I have between making sure that I have Ampharos' second ear, maybe put him in a more warm pose, giving like a wave or a high thumbs up or something. But as it stands right now, I think we can call this one finished and say that that's a pretty okay looking guy for someone who doesn't usually do physical drawings like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you'd like to see more of this, or if you'd like to see more of anything specific. Bye.